Hello Wadsters, Aaron here. Welcome to the Cube Vlog. This is something I've wanted to do for a while, and I actually did record a video before this, but I didn't publish it because I couldn't really get the ins and outs of what I really want to do. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is blabbering on about my cubes. I wanted this to kind of be a way for me to go through some ideas for cubes or like changes that I'm going to make because I don't have a ton of people to talk about. Well, I have a huge play group, but not a lot of people like probably interested in discussing what changes I should be making, especially since I have so many cubes. So here, I feel like this is a way to kind of go through some ideas, and since I'd like to publish it, it would help me kind of try to make some tough decisions with the critique of the viewers, right? So I thought for this first video, I'd like to just get that out of the way that I have a bunch of cubes. I'm a person that likes a lot of that. It takes up a lot of Magic content. What I mean is like I watch a lot of stuff. I listen to podcasts at work. So I'm listening to hours and hours of Magic content. This is also kind of like my way of kind of giving back to that, I guess. Yeah. So I thought I'd start off with my cubes, not in any particular order. Pardon me. Um, this first one here is called the Rambros cube. My last name is Ramcharatar, and my brother as well. So we're called the Rambros, and we made this cube, and it is a cube that is based on multicolored cards and cycles. I originally put the cube together with the idea of just using cycles, so you can see that there's a lot of multicolored cards. um, yeah, so for example, Oath of the Gatewatch has a multicolored cycle at uncommon. So I just basically took those cards and just shoved them in there. Uh, this cube, when I first described it, it was a cube that had no archetypes, so it's very random. I'm sure there are some archetypes, but they're not specifically supported in the cube. My goal for this cube eventually is to get rid of all the single colored cards that don't require you to have two, that don't mention two or more colors on it. For example, Sunblade Elf, it still would probably stay in the cube because it's technically a gold card. You need to have planes. But Unlo- Ulvenwald Tracker, sorry, is not. It's just a monocolored card. You don't even need. You could put in a monocolored deck. So these cards I probably would like to like switch out eventually. So yeah, so this cube was basically built on cycles. So five color cycles, wedge cycles, multicolored cycles, and then I kind of like took out the stuff that was really shit, and then I put in a bunch of cards that were kind of fun. But I think in the end, the whole point of this was to be multicolored. So I might end up doing that. You can see here I still have cycle. I have the spellbomb cycle. I have the ring cycle. I have the Keyrune cycles, the monument cycles. So there's some things I mean, right now it is playable. It's fun. It's a 720 card, so it hosts two pods. And I actually did draft two pods, get two pods to draft it, and it was super fun. It's only been drafted once, so if I make changes, it's not because I need to balance things. It's more just to make things the way I kind of envisioned it being. But yeah, so that's one of my cubes. This cube, like I said, it every single set Wizards kind of puts out a gold colored cycle. They did it for Battle for Zendikar. They did it for Oath of the Gatewatch. They did it for Origins. So I just keep on taking that cycle and shoving it in, and making it. I do want to make one or two changes with the mana base. I currently have 59 lands. I think most of them create two or more colors. I want to add two more cycle, at least one more cycle, possibly two, and then that'll eventually come in with the reintegration of like all gold colors. One thing I wanted to add in was the Pain lands from Ice Age, but because of the Eldrazi decks right now in Modern, they're like they shot up in price by like 6 times the price. Stupid ridiculous. Anyways, so that was, oh boy, that's one cube. So 720 cards, super fun. I love this cube. I wish I could play it more. I have drafted it with my bro, so we've done what's it called? Winchesters. Pretty fun. The next cube I'm talking about is my classic nostalgic cube. And now I called it classic, but it's really just a nostalgia cube. And its budget, it's all cards under $5. And basically these cards all come from revised up to alliances. Because everything before revised, or unlimited, I guess, everything before unlimited is like, I don't know, $60. So, you know, it's not really reasonable. So I basically picked out a bunch of stuff that's really fun, you know, like, you know, the classic Dark Ritual, there's Necropotence in here, there's a bunch of cool stuff, Swords to Plowshares and whatever. So all the stuff that if you were playing back in the day and you were able to afford it as like a budget player, that's in this cube. Now, with this cube, I'm thinking about changing it. I did get to play test it twice. I play tested it with a group of 6 people. It's just kind of odds and ends. I kind of put it together. It was one of my first cubes, and I just did it on a whim. As you can see, 392 cards. It's kind of random. So I think I want to cut it down to 360, and I want to make the power a little bit higher because some of this stuff is really bad. I have to take out Soul Ring. Soul Ring's in here. I have to take that out, even though it's a budget card. It's a card that just busts any cube it's in. And since I'm playing this, you know, the old stuff, it's kind of, there's powered spells, but all the creatures are underpowered. So I'm going to cut that out. I might extend it to Path Alliances. I might include the Mirage cycle or the Vision cycle. I'm not sure what it is. And then I want to take in the Wrath cycle, which is a Tempest, Stronghold, and what's the other one? Torment? Or I can't remember. Anyways, there's another 3 sets there. So I'm going to try to incorporate 6 more sets to make the cards more usable. Like some of them are like really bad, like Abbey Matron, like 3 to cast 1/3, and you tap it in a white, and it gets +0/+3 until the turn. So bad. So some of these cards are not good. I did it more as a nostalgia thing, and this is kind of in the works. So this once I do get the two other blocks. Good thing I count 2 other blocks in the 2 of 3 sets, right? So when I get the next 2 blocks in there, that'll be closed, and it's not going to rotate or anything because it's a nostalgia cube. So that's another one of the cubes. Let's see. Next cube is the Ravnica United cube. Ravnica United. Yeah, I'm psycho. I have so many cubes. Ravnica United. Basically, I had this idea when the Return to Ravnica block came out. I really enjoyed the original Ravnica. I didn't play that much, but I did play. I opened a bunch of stuff with my bro, and we played, and it was great. And then when they came out with Return to Ravnica is one of my favorite blocks, just because I was so crazy about it. It's not that they had great cards, but I did love it, and nostalgia and all that included. So I made a cube with the 6 sets in it, and it's all pauper, so it's all commons. And I basically just made a list of all the commons in the 6 sets, took out all the crap cards, and here we have it. So this is a non-rotating, non-changing cube. It's always going to be the same. Although, as you notice here, I just uploaded this today, actually, this cube. I'm missing 2 cards, so I have to go through the whole freaking list and find out what 2 cards I'm missing. I'm imagining I'm missing a green card here and possibly a white card. I don't know. So I'll have to check it out and see what's going on. So that's the Ravnica United Pauper Cube. The Ravnica United Pauper and the Classic Nostalgia is probably not going to be talked about much because, I mean, if I end up doing this as a continuous vlog thing. The next one, which is something I really want to talk about a lot, actually, is my Power Pauper Cube. Now this is a cube that was it's currently loosely based off of Staborski's list. You can look at it. I think you just type in Google the Pauper Cube, and you'll find Adam Staborski's list, and you can just make it. I think I made it for $100 with sleeves and stuff like that. So really awesome if you don't want to spend money on Magic. You're like, I want to play on a budget. You could just make that list and play as many times as your heart desires. I've played so many times with this cube, and it just never gets old. Now, recently I changed it up. I'm just going to show you guys the list. And I added, so I've been following Staborski's list for 3 years now, 4 years, ever since I made the cube. But I kind of wanted to make it my own, a little, just to gain some ownership. So I made some big changes to the cube. Right now I'm in the middle of two things I made. I made a Spells Matter / Storm archetype. Now I know everyone's gonna be like, oh god, Storm, and here's the changes that I decided to make. Now the things in blue are the ones that I did make. The pink ones are things I was going through different sources. I saw some sources online saying to do this and that, and there were some ideas of a blue white artifact storm deck. But I like the idea of the red blue one, because the reason why I like the red blue one, first of all, is because there are things you can fall back on. For example, there's Delver. If you're going heavy spells and you're going Storm, sometimes that shit doesn't pan out. Actually, most of the time that shit doesn't pan out. And you want to kind of fall back on something. So I have Kiln Fiend in there. I have Wee Dragonauts. I have I don't have Nivix Cyclops because I just feel like it's not good enough. It doesn't have Trample, so you're just gonna be chumped. There's a couple of other cards that spell matters. There's some prowess cards. There's the flying, what's he, a Jin or something? He's a 3/3 4 to cast, flying, and then he gets +1/+1. Well, he has prowess, so every time he casts a spell, he gets a little bit buffed. There's also there's lots of token creature creators, so that works in this as well. So basically, I went through the idea of making this happen. A lot of the cards still work. A lot of the cards were already in the cube, so it didn't really change much. I had, Stagger Shock, Ponder, Preordain, they're already in there. Faithless Looting, I should have been there. I don't know why it wasn't there. So there's a lot of things I made. There are a couple of cards that are kind of on the edge, like they're not amazing in other cubes, but in other colors or archetypes, but they still work. Like everything here works in almost any archetype. So that's why I added it. I haven't had a ton of a chance to playtest it. I think we playtested it once and no one did Storm or even Spell Matters. So anyways, it's something to think about. The other thing I did with this cube is that I added a graveyard, black-green graveyard archetype. Now the reason why I did this is because I felt like the black aggro thing was so boring. Black has an identity, and it just wasn't pushing through in the power Pauper Cube. Like if you play Adam Staborski's Pauper Cube, sure, you can make some powerful black decks, but is it really what black does, right? And that's the big question that I was asking myself, and I felt like it wasn't. I had played this cube. I've been playing this cube for years, and I never felt like it was doing exactly what black wanted to do. The aggro thing just doesn't make any sense. Black has some of the best removal spells. It has the best removal spells, right? So it fits into the control deck pretty easily. But what is the other deck doing? And I felt like it really connects well with graveyard stuff. Like we have, I already had a bunch of recursion stuff, not Reanimator, but just recursion stuff. So I thought I'd add a couple of things to kind of make the graveyard thing work. First of all, I added a lot of Madness discard outlets. I had some sack outlets, like where is it? Like Blood Baron, to sack outlet the Phyrexian what is it? The Phyrexian something else. Is a Phyrexian something. Anyways, the Blood Baron has an Antuco Husk, right? And then there's another one, I think. Anyways, I put Putrid Imps as a discard outlet. I put Tortured Existence. Is it Tortured Existence? Anyways, I put it in there, and we play tested it, and no one did it. So I'm still kind of going through what this can mean for the cube. But anyways, no one complained about it, so I think I'll let it go and see how things go, right? And hopefully someone can eventually draft it. I took out some green cards for to help the archetype run a little bit better. I took out Hexproof because Hexproof was kind of just it was too much. It was overbearing in the cube, kind of what like red is right now with all the burn. But so I took out Hexproof. So I took out Sacred Wolf. I took out all the aggressive black cards like the Vampire Interloper, Carnophage, Vampire Lacerator. Sure, these were good cards, but they just didn't feel black, right? Right now, my aggro colors are white and red. Blue has a very tempo-based strategy, and green is the kind of outlier right now. So green helps black with the graveyard stuff. It also has a kind of a fish kind of flash bears thing with blue, as well as ramping to big stuff with blue. It also kind of doubles up as a token color. So it has a minor aggro thing going on, which is kind of strange because it's trying to do three things. Green is. So it has a minor token thing going on. Siege Worm, you know. Cavu Primarch. Actually, I don't like Cavu Primarch. I think I'm going to take that out. Anyways, this is in the works. And every single set that comes out, I'm going to, if this seems to be, I'm going to look over this video, and if I seem to like it, I'm going to end up doing this vlog thing, this cube vlog. And this is going to be one of the cubes that I'm going to be updating all the time. I need to go over the Oath of the Gatewatch stuff. I don't think there was much in there, maybe one or two cards. There's a whole bunch of sets that are coming out. Shadows of Innistrad in a month. Eternal Masters in June from the Vault. I guess that's not stuff that it won't get. I guess the rarity won't change in From the Vault. Maybe it does. I'm not sure. Conspiracy is going to be a big one at the end of August. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up. So I'm really looking forward to like seeing what we can do with this. This is just my way of going through ideas to update the cube. And last but not least is my Proxy Vintage Cube, Power Cube. It's the cube that is the holiday cube on MTGO, but I proxied it. So what I did was I proxied the whole cube, and then I went through my collection, and then took out the cards that I have, took out the proxies, and replaced them with real cards. Now how it works is that I had a couple of ideas about it. At first, I wasn't going to do real cards. I was just going to do proxies, because I wanted it. First of all, I didn't think I had that many cards for the cube. Also, the money issue. It's really, really expensive. So, for example, I have this fake Den Protector and this real Hellrider, and they feel exactly the same. What I did was I went online and I looked up a bunch of sources about what I should do about making a proxy cube, and people had extravagant ways of doing it. One of the ideas was start a card stock, but the thing is, it wouldn't feel the same as everything, so I'd actually have to proxy lands as well. I could never change the cards to real cards because the thickness is different. So I had the idea of printing it on regular. It's almost like regular paper, but it has a photo finish. So it's kind of like it's very close to a proxy card that has pretty high quality resolution. but it's thin. So I what I did was I have there's a den protector, whoop, and then there's the land behind it, and it feels exactly the same as a double sleeved regular Magic card. So that was the trick. So I have this very thin paper in front of a land in a sleeve, not double sleeve, just a sleeve. And then the real cards, I double sleeve them with no backing, obviously, just the real card. And it's the same thickness, like you can't tell the difference. And they feel the same, they bend the same. And I put them in KMC's hyper mat, whatever, the standard KMC sleeves. Yeah, so that's really fun. Now the problem with this cube is that I don't really like. There's power in it. I have made one or two changes from the MTGO cube, but it's more out of nostalgia I did it. So I don't know. I'm gonna see, about changes. I don't think I'm gonna refer to my just like personal thoughts. I'm much more gonna refer to the pros, and the pros are I've been listening to some podcasts like the Third Power and the MTG box or the Magic box. So those two podcasts are pretty good. The guys know what they're doing. They've been cubing for half a decade, a decade with those cubes, with powerful cubes. So I'm probably going to refer to them for this stuff. But something I'd really like to do on the vlog is work on changes for the common cube, the power popper cube, possibly the power cube, the vintage power cube, proxy power cube. I could also go through things of my acquisitions. I'm about halfway through the cube. There's some things that I'll never probably get, like the power. That's something that I don't think is in my price range. But who knows? My goal is to just keep on getting cards in the lower brackets. Probably up to like $40, and then I think my cutoff is probably $40 per card. If I could trade in, I'm not gonna just like lay down cold cash for it, but if I could acquire some of these cards at a deal, I'll do so. Like I said, I think I have 52% of the cube with real cards, so I'm already halfway there. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know if I was on the other end looking for cube content, I'd be interested. I know this is kind of long, but this is just kind of an intro. Hopefully it's informative or interesting, or something you guys are interested in. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Take care, and if you have any ideas, you can let me know in the comment box what you think. If I should do something, if you want to see, like, I don't know, some kind of section where I go through cards or something, I don't know. Who knows? Let me know. Take care.